There's balance in our duality.
As our energies explore the possibilities.
Time is but an illusion.
And information is power.
You're listening to InnerlightRadio.com.
The healing frequency.
I think you're royalty and you deserve nothing less than my loyalty. You hold me down, in return you get more of me. That's how it feel when you're someone's priority, babe. Now what you gonna do with that? I know you ain't used to that. I'll show you better, babe.
I know you're used to letdowns and heartbreaks, lost in silhouettes of your heartaches. I can show you better, babe.
Oh, tonight I want to welcome you to Grown Folks Business. We are live and in full effect with the lovely Riziki Zafira, and I'm telling you, I am feeling the energy. I had to listen to all my guests last week who said, Sierra, Goddess, you sound like you're yelling. Listen, you get all of these beautiful melanated women on one line. We get excited. It sounds like we're fussing, but I'm telling you, this sister gives me life. And so I'm going to try to pipe it down tonight that I'm not hollering and screaming in you all's earwaves over the airwaves, but I get excited about her work. She is a very prolific, dynamic, amazing Vedic astrologer. I don't know what you call it when the sisters are doing it, but she's doing it and doing it and doing it well, like LL. So tonight, welcome, Riziki. How are you?
Welcome, sis. I am doing okay. How are you?
I'm telling you, I'm hanging in there. We're both a little bit under the weather tonight, but we're going to make this thing happen, right? Because that's what women do. We're strong. I think in all of our 12 houses, there's a warrior.
Absolutely.
And we keep it moving. So tonight we're capping off with, again, that 12th house energy. There's so much that you do, but I don't want to give it all away because I believe that people should pay for the info that they want, you know? So we're really sticking to the topic of that 12th house and what's going on in that energetic cycle in people's lives. And so we talked about last week, how the polar opposites happen in the 12th house. So in one aspect, when you're in the, so to speak, positive, I get a little bit tense when I have to say things like positive and negative. These are words that we as humans use to quantify our belief systems. But you have things that are either working for you or not really working for you. And even when they're not really working for you, I found out that they're kind of working for you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If I hadn't have done some of the things I did in my 12th house, I wouldn't have known not to do it no more.
Absolutely.
So, I had to sleep with that brother to find out I had no business with that brother. I had to be best friends with that chick that found out that her 12th house was raggedy and I didn't need to be friends with her. You know what I'm saying? So absolutely. Even when things aren't really working for your good, so to speak, in the earth realm, in the spiritual realm, they're really working for your good. So tonight I want to welcome you, Riziki. I want to give you the floor now to talk about what it is that you do, first of all, and give out your contact information because I get so excited. I don't want to miss that. So can you tell my guest exactly what it is that you do and how you do it?
Absolutely. So as you mentioned, yes, I am a sidereal astrologer. I'm also a Reiki practitioner and a Tantrika. I teach and train, and of course I also give sessions, but I've definitely learned to kind of incorporate all of these modalities, as far as my healing work goes. So for instance, anybody who gets a table session from me, the first thing I look at is their chart. And the 12th house, as a matter of fact, is one of the moksha houses, that we look to, as far as a person's chart. And the moksha house is the houses that tells us what's going to give this person problems. I've also seen death in the 12th house as far as physical and spiritual, and so again, being able to utilize this system, if you will, to understand a person's energetic makeup and what are the things that they're bringing in from past life, the lessons that they didn't learn from past life, it definitely helps me in my journey in returning them back to their highest and best version of themselves.
And how can a person contact you?
Oh, absolutely. My website, www.rizikizafira, that's RIZIKIZAFIRA.com, or hit me up on Facebook.
Okay, awesome. So one of the things I want to talk about, because after meeting you and having such an amazing reading with you, because there's some guests that I really, to my heart, that I have on this show, guys, I want y'all to understand that I don't just bring anybody on here. I make sure that the people that I bring are tried, tested, and true. And this sister is tried, tested, and true. She is amazing at what she does. She gets super excited about what she does. That's something that I love, because you don't want somebody, treating you like they're your therapist or something when they're giving you the good and the bad news. And she gives it to you in such a real-time experience, and I love that. I wanted to ask you a couple of questions really quick, because as I checked, it said tomorrow that the moon was entering into Virgo. And I don't know the difference between the type of astrology that you do and the type that, what is it? This Western, type of Western astrology. So is it entering into Virgo tomorrow with what you do, or is that the Western aspect?
That is definitely the Western aspect. So again, real quick, the difference is, without getting too deep, Western astrology is not astronomically correct. It's 23 degrees off based on European concepts as far as where they felt the planet was, and they just never kept up with the precession of planets. And as I given an example before, May 18th is my birthday. So as of year 2017, the sun will be in Taurus, but 2,500 years from now, May 18th will make me Aries. So again, sidereal astrology keeps up with the precession of planets. So right now, actually, the moon is in Cancer. Okay. So the moon in Cancer is very, so feeling a lot of moon energy, mother energy for anything dealing with the womb, the energy, the waters, emotion, comfort, nurturing, all that stuff. So moon is actually in 26 degrees Cancer today. And by tomorrow it will be in Leo. So again, the reason why it's saying moon will be in Virgo is because, again, Western astrology is 23 degrees off. So yeah.
Because it has the moon in Leo today. Actually on the 29th. And so I'm thinking, because I as I go through my own feelings and things, and what she does, people, is very extensive. Listen, this sister has educated herself, and there's much respect to that, because it's nothing like, dealing with somebody that's straight goofy, giving you some whack information, that's just like, hella goofy energy. But, this sister is really, she does do all that other stuff, and she's amazing at everything she does. But I really love her in this element of her life, because it brings out such passion from her, even though she's passionate about so many other things. But I see a light in her when she's doing this charting, and it does assist her in everything else that she does. It helps her to really get people in a position where they need to be. And there's nothing like being a healer and not, and when I say that word, it's loosely, because the healing comes from within. Of course, you have to desire it, but we are assisters and facilitators of healing for people. And there's nothing like dealing with a person and you don't really know what ails them. And that's what Riziki does. She's able to go in there and say, okay, here's the situation. This is what is going on. And so, there's brothers out here and sisters alike who are struggling with feelings of homosexuality at certain times of the year, and they don't really know why. That's that 12th house energy. You know what I'm saying? There are people out here that at certain times of year are suicidal and they don't know why. And it's not every day, and you can catch those people on the right day and they'll commit suicide, You see it a lot in celebrities. It's also tied. I was looking today, sis, at Alexander McQueen, the fashion designer. And I really was, he took his own life tragically, but he took it 9 days after his mother passed from cancer. And I really wished, I was like, man, if Riziki could have been on this guy's team and what she could have told him, because it's like you take this thing and you take a glimpse into what's getting ready to happen. Exactly. And the person can prepare for it, because he did it 9 days after his mother passed. What would have happened on the 10th day if he had come out of that energy? You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And
exactly.
so I began to look today as I was getting ready for our talk, and I was looking at people that had passed on, and I looked at people who passed on in tragic manners, and people may think that meaning by their own hand. And I thought to myself, what was going on in this moment for them, where that moment of despair hit them and they thought this is it, and what would have happened the next day. I know there's certain times that, I am just banana bonkers in my emotions and feelings. And I think back to the things that you told me concerning myself. And so I pay attention to those things, and I recognize that tomorrow is another day, and I don't have to necessarily sit in it, but I have issues when I come into that Rahu energy. But you said that I was born in that, you know what I'm saying? But yet I still have issues when it comes around, and I don't have issues of like hysteria, but I have a lot of loss that comes into my life. Like, I will lose a relationship. I'll lose friendships with, it's like the planets just come to separate me. And at the moment that it's happening, I don't necessarily understand why. And I can be in a really despondent state, but then maybe a month or two later, when I step out of that energy, cause I stay in Rahu, I think it's like 3 months or something like that. It's horrible. But when I come out of it, I always recognize then why the relationships or the change or whatever it was that took place needed to happen. And so that's one of the reasons why I really wanted to have you on, because, I lost an acquaintance, and when I found out about it, Brother Ray, it hit me hard, because I had shared with him when I met him that he was ill. And that I wanted to see him, and that and that I would even see him for free, because I desire that people live. Yeah. And I found out today that he passed away, and it hurt me deeply, because I'm saying to myself, what we do is really important, but it's also extremely important to listen to what's within.
That's
and
right.
also what's without, meaning when somebody tells you that, hey, I see a situation in your life and I'm willing to help you with it, to listen to that, because we're helpers one to another. We do things to really support one another as we walk in this crazy thing called humanity. And so I've sent people to you that were struggling, some of my clients, and I say, hey, listen, you need to call Riziki. And I think I only had one of my clients, a young lady, that did it. People get really crazy about paying for their health, but they pay to destroy their temple. They don't have a problem stopping at McDonald's. They don't have a problem getting, I think it's a $20 pack of cigarettes. They don't have a problem getting,
She said $20 pack.
I just read that cigarettes was like $20. I don't know, because I don't smoke, but my God, that's a tank of gas. You know what I'm saying? A bag of the sticky icky ain't but like,
you feel
like $5 you can get a pinch, you know what I'm saying? But you run around to get some tar in your lungs, for $16 to $20, and then they don't want to really search and discover what was going on when I was born.
And that's the scary part. And I'm so glad you're bringing this up. And see, like, even when you talk about your 12th house, and I'm just so glad that you are up on it, because again, first off, your 12th house is in Scorpio, honey. So you got a deep house you got a deep house with a deep, you know what I mean, sign. And then again, your Mercury, which is your thoughts, you know, your communication, the things you speak about, your thought process, that's his Mercury and well, and as well. And see, with this position is very important because I have seen people, you know, suicidal. You know, I have seen people who end up in some kind of asylum or crazy place or whatever because
Yeah, I done did all that already.
right, yes, because of that easy ability to just mentally disconnect and go like into this deep suppressed kind of whatever. You know what I mean? And then two, that also has something to do with your ability to channel from spirit world and even at times working with darker energies. Not to mean that it's negative, but
Right.
you know, yeah, darker energies. And so knowing that, like you said, when you're going through these certain transits and cycles and just understanding how energy affects you is highly important. And yes, again, being that 12th house is one of the moksha houses, meaning, you know, this is what we look to when we want to discover what's bad, what are our losses. Like, you have to know these things and understand that through this house is how you gain enlightenment. See, a lot of people just figure, you know, like you said, you know, if something bad happens, you know, it's just bad. No, there was some kind of lesson you were to learn. And unfortunately, when we go through certain tribulations, it actually leads us a step closer to the freedom that we're looking for our spirit self, but more importantly about the lessons that we're here to learn in this lifetime. And this is what 12th house is about. It's kind of like going through the first, second, all the way third, fourth, fifth, all the way to the 12th. It's like going through stages in life. You know what I mean? Like as you're hopping through these stages or areas in life, understand that 1 through 11, all of these things, when I say 1 through 11, I mean the houses, all of these things you are to master and bring up, you know, the best quality, because then when you walk into that 12th house, that's when you gain your enlightenment from all of the wisdom you learn from all of these other areas in life. This is when you get to this house, this is a house that literally lets your spirit self free, your soul self free. And see, some of us have made contracts to just come here, you know, and just be here until we feel like going back. Some of us made contracts into, you know, I'm here to complete a duty, learn this lesson, and then I'm trying to go back home to where I come from. And understanding what is in that 12th house, what is your deepest desires, your deepest talents and skills, where are the areas in life that you can lose from, the things that can bring you bad luck. You know what I mean? Like, understanding that stuff is so important. And the other thing you brought up, I'm glad you did, is yes, understanding that some of the things we went through literally was like a divine order. A lot of us experience these 12th house experiences, and there's some sort of guilt, rather it be, you know, a close family member who died, or your experience through death, or just experiences through loss, period. You know, understanding that this is a part of the journey, and don't feel bad, don't feel the guilt. You know what I mean? It's always okay to go back and reflect, but man, you have to find the light through all that loss. You have to find the gain through all the losses that your 12th house had something to do with. So, yes.
And I think also I was looking at, there was a time when you had done a teaching on Dr. Sebi.
Oh,
and,
girl, yes.
Yeah. And
yes,
how
honey.
that energy was like in the atmosphere for that transition. And,
so
the same thing with I wanted you to talk about maybe the big transitions like Michael Jackson, Prince, Dr. Sebi, you know, and how those things line up planetary, because I know you track that stuff and you're amazing at it. And so can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So, well, first, like my first case study was like me researching like serial rapists and murderers and stuff like that, because I really wanted to understand, you know, what kind of planetary makeup or positions influence these types of people. And like you said, with Michael Jackson, with Dr. Sebi and Prince, again, you know, I have to be honest and say that, you know, there's more than one house, like the 6th and the 8th house as well, that deals with death and sickness.
Absolutely.
But also the 12th house, and I believe it was for Prince or Michael, one of those. I got to bring it back up, but all of those houses were lit up. the 6th, 8th, and the 12th. So when you have these certain combinations, you know what I mean? There are certain things that are prone to happen in regards to death. And death either means like you spiritually die in order for you to reborn again, or you just physically die. But especially with Sabi, absolutely, there were some things going on. He passed when his moon was in the 6th house, which is sickness, disease, obstacles, and challenges. And you know, so yes, he was sick, and also his 12th house was highlighted, and again 12th house deals with energies or places of isolation like jails, hospitals, ashrams, and sure enough that's where he died. He died from a sickness in a jail. Absolutely. And so again, when certain people die or pass, and some people are like, oh, it was a conspiracy, or they wasn't meant to die, or all this other stuff. And when I look at these planetary alignments, I'm like, well, either his murderers knew what was in his chart, or this was just strictly divine order, because it straight up lined up. You know, it lined up. Exactly. And with Dr. Sabi, like just the energy.
Please leave your message for.
Just the energy that it was so heavy. It was so deep. I mean, like, I really felt like his passing should have taught many of us a lesson. This is why I'm just like, it was in divine order. I do feel for his family, you know, may he rest in power. But, you know, if it's any condolence, understand his passing was definitely in divine order to teach the world a message. So.
Absolutely. And so I see that I have a caller that's coming off and on. So we'll check and see if they come back here in a second, as my producer tries to call them back. Because I know I had people asking me about it, and I explained to them what you do is very extensive. It's not something that you can cover for them in 5 seconds, on the radio, but I really want them to get a feel for what it is that you do. Okay, I think I have my caller back. Hello, caller, are you with me?
I am with you, and I don't know how my signal is, but give thanks that I am connected.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. How are you this evening?
I am well. I am wondering, because I'm always calling in at a time when either I'm listening to a recording or not quite the actual time of the show that I'm listening to.
Okay. Well, you're live on the air right now, so this is the actual show, Grown Folks Business. And tonight we're talking about that 12th house energy with Riziki Zafira. I'm live right now, and she is on with me. So if there's something that you want to ask her, my producer asked that you turn off your speaker. I guess he can hear.
Ashe. That's maybe why I didn't get a response when I'm calling in. Okay, let me go on mute that, and hold on 1 second, please.
Okay, sure. I always love when I have a caller that's excited about learning this information. That's amazing. Yes, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on, because you know what you're doing is really life changing, and you know people need to awaken a little bit more. Get out of get yourself from out front of the TV, folks. You know, stop letting yourself get brainwashed, and programmed. Okay, so now we have our caller. So you're live on Grown Folks Business, caller with Riziki Zafira. And so what's your question?
I am loving you ladies, and I have been for a long time, and I'm just absolutely elated right now that I've able to reach this line and the program in the live stream. I have so many things. You are so welcome, and your ladies' work are awesome, and I've been listening for quite a while, trying to catch up.
What's your name, caller, if you don't mind?
My name is Aroy, A-R-O-Y.
Aroy, beautiful.
Aroy, yes, beautiful.
Yeah, give thanks. I am born a Scorpio, but I have had so much loss, and just listening to these informations, I know, I have so much connection to Michael Jackson and so much different things that he revealed to me, as well as communicated with me since his transition. And I'm just thankful that I even had that kind of connection with that type of archangel. I have experienced a lot of my own loss, so I'm just listening to what I just chimed in on, and I wanted to call in because I've always tried to reach the line. I'm just figuring out my own guys. I know what I am in my own self, but I've experienced so many things that have turned me around and stop, barrier my path. And I'm just now breaking down these barriers, and I'm getting ready to strike. Whether everything is in a perfect condition or not, the ancestors have gave me the go-ahead, and that's what I need to do. I've lost mother, son, and father. Give thanks. And,
Can
these
you
things...
Can you give Riziki your birthday, please?
Yes.
Yes. It's 10/24, and I was born at 2/24. 10/24/71.
71. Yes. You were born at 2:24 p.m. or a.m.?
8 p.m.
Okay, 14.
I'm 10/27 Scorpio, baby.
Awesome, sis.
Where were you born?
I was born in Ohio. I'm actually, I'm born on the Libra cusp of the Scorpio, and
hold up, sis.
rising.
Hold on, sis. What city? Because this is a different system that I'm using.
Cleveland.
What city?
Okay, Cleveland, Ohio. Mm-hmm.
All righty. So let me go on and put you in right quick. And I do appreciate when people give me their astrological breakdown, but I'm like, hold up, I don't even operate by
Yeah, she does. It's a whole nother issue.
It's a whole
exactly, and okay. I know you are thorough. I know you are thorough. I've listened to your work, and I'm definitely that's why I'm calling in.
So here's the deal with you as a Capricorn rising. Okay, you two just like Sister Sierra, you two have your Rahu in your first house. Okay. And so this life is a lesson of developing yourself. You definitely have your ruling planet of Saturn in the 5th house, which is also a past life karmic house, and it's in retrograde. So there's definitely some past life lessons that you did not complete in past life. And then another thing with disconnection is your K2, which is a house of disconnection, is in Cancer in your 7th house. So this explains the on again, off again, or disconnection in relationship. Also, this deals with sometimes having a life of relationships or preferences that may be quote unquote unusual from traditional or the norm. And then also your moon is in your 12th house of Sagittarius. And again, so moon in 12th house, again, moon, Mercury in 12th house. These are my channelers. These are my dreamers. These are people who are visionaries who can, really tap into that other dimensional world. And I'll tell you what, there's also wisdom in what you're learning from this 12th house energy. I don't know if you ever thought about, teaching or counseling or anything like that, but this is definitely a part of your makeup. There is wisdom that you have with this emotional disconnection, as well as the things that you experience in the interdimensional realm. Absolutely. So when it comes to, like you said, I've been channeling and stuff, I definitely do see that makeup, but I also just want you to be aware of your emotional, and I always say, especially with people who are into this ability to emotionally disconnect, as far as going into these other realms and dimensions, that also can affect your relationships, because sometimes we become so spiritual and so into this interdimensional transcendental stuff, our ability to relate in relationships, personal and business, can suffer. So there's
saying that they used to say, Riziki, when they used to say, so spiritually deep, earthly good. And so I've been in that. I've been in that space before.
That's why I feel so out of place. Exactly. I've always felt like I do not belong here. Why am I here? What are these people about? Because I'm so disconnected from so many, this realm, really. But I am connected because I have the compassion and I see the need, but I see also that my people are shut down and they're not really willing to ascend. And I really don't have relationships, closeness with people, because I am so ascended, and I am told that I need to be able to dumb myself down, so to speak, so that I can be able to be relatable and be able to be approachable. It's so hard for me.
You have to. I don't use the word dumb yourself down, but you do need to come out of the celestials and walk on the plane that you're in.
Where they are.
Meet people where they are.
Absolutely. And I'll just say this, even with that, with your Saturn retrograde, there's I want you to definitely in this life be aware of your responsibility. No matter how challenging
I
them.
still have work to do. Yeah.
Yes, because your past life, there was some responsibilities that you were neglectful of. There was a lack of self-awareness, which is why in this life, there's definitely more self-awareness, more self-honesty as far as those goals that you came into this life with. You are not to be the same person you were before in past life. And last thing I'm going to say, and then I'll stop because, like Sierra said, I get all deep. But, the Saturn retrograde definitely challenges a person because they do become more self-isolating and antisocial over time. They do feel like they're alone. Yeah. And that they're misunderstood and also being afraid of rejection. Okay, we may act like that you don't care, but you really do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I know. So that's another thing to work on. But again, like Sis was saying, this, when we're a certain way and we don't understand, we start to again feel this guilt. And if people come into our ear like, well, you shouldn't be da 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 da. And like Sis said last show, listen, this is the way my planet is set up. Yes. Okay, and
planet.
Yeah, it is what it is. I mean,
and the beautiful thing about it is, I'm gonna share this with you, that I've learned, and one of the things I learned through having my chart read with Riziki is that don't let your masks become your face. But it is okay to have some masks. So I am extremely spiritually ascended, but I make sure that I align myself with the lowest person in the room so that I can build a connection with them and bring them up. I used to come into a room and I used to over talk people and I used to let everyone know how much above them I was, and I didn't have a lot of it wasn't intentional. I was just being myself. But myself, myself was, it appeared to be a snob, or it appeared to be a person that thought she was better than somebody else. And my relationship suffered. And one of the reasons why I had my charting done was to understand myself because it was lonely. And so now that I had my charting done with Riziki, I was able to understand who I was and not have the shame and the guilt of being so celestial. People used to say, I feel like you're not even from this planet, like you're just here making fun of us. And, I had a person that I loved deeply, and she said to me, from the time we were children, I never really thought you were from here. I always thought you were an angel here just making fun of us. And, she said it, and it was a beautiful comment, but at the same time, it let me know how disconnected she felt from me. And so, and this is, one of the closest people in my life is my first cousin, who's also my sister. But she said, meaning she's my first cousin, but she's more than that. She's my literal, this is my cut buddy, everything. And she said to me, she said, Sierra, I never really felt like you were from this planet. You're a completely different person. And the way that you think is just not like the average person. And it makes you come across as unapproachable. And so, I got my charting done. And, Riziki was so excited because, she didn't really like me either, y'all.
Yeah, I didn't. She didn't like me at all. Let it be known, I did not like her ass. I was like, I don't like her. But when I read her chart, like she said, I understood. And the important thing is the important thing is I was still, even though I felt how I felt, because I'm human, but I still put that to the side and read her chart. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day.
And that's why she's on my show, because she was able to do her job even with her dislike. And
I say.
And I thought her dislike of me was hilarious. And so I really made sure that
in the same similar situation.
Yeah, I made sure that I talked to her. I made sure that I talked to her every time I saw her because I loved her facial expressions because I knew.
You don't like me, but I'm about to talk to you.
Well, because I knew being the Scorpio that I was, I knew that we would be very close, and that's exactly what we are. And so we have a respect for one another's work, a respect for one another's opinions, a respect for one another in general, and even in the things that we don't agree.
Right. And the council, because there's been times like, my clients also teach me as well. There's a lot of stuff look, Sierra done tapped 10, hey, you need to do this. And I do it. And lo and behold, there's some snowball effect. And I'm like, oh my God, you know what I mean? So it's definitely been a very mutually beneficial relationship. And it just goes to show, like for me dealing with energy, you know, I understand her energy now. Like I can, whatever experiences she went through physically in this world, you know what I mean? It created a mask that I could not see. You see what I'm saying? When I really got down to the core and understood, okay, this is who she really is. And through these experiences, this is kind of what altered her from being this person that I see, and this person that I'm reading. And so again, with the work that we do, understanding that, enlightenment, bliss, all of that just comes back from being able to know you can exist being really who you are. This is why we get depressed. A lot of people, you know what I mean? We want to get depressed or commit suicide because we're in a situation that's not us or we're not happy. And we have to get back to we got to get back to that. Absolutely.
And one of the greatest things, caller, that I'm going to leave you with as a Scorpio that I learned through my charting is we have a lot of power. It's okay to let somebody else have it. It's okay to sit in a room and not own the room. So I just want to leave you with that. It's okay to just sit back and not say a word. It's okay to allow people to have even their ignorant moment. It's okay.
Wow.
And so what that does is it gives you the ability to really go within, because everything I've learned through my charting is that everyone that I've encountered in life has been a mirror. There's nobody that I've encountered that I've supposed to lord over. They've all come to show me something about myself that needed to be changed, that needed to be exalted, that needed to be loved, that needed to be held within myself. And so make sure that when you step out tomorrow, that you allow somebody else to have the floor and just watch and see what's on the inside of you, so that as you get that right with you, you watch the people change before your very eyes.
That's right.
So with that, I want to thank you so much for calling us tonight. We love you and we like you. And
we love you.
We hope
Please
that you
give me your information. I need to get a reading. Definitely. I would like to get my chart read, exactly.
Okay, absolutely. So again, my website, rizikizafira.com, RIZIKIZAFIRA. Yeah, and just go to the shop and you'll see the readings, the star chart reading, and we will definitely get you booked.
I say, okay, got a Sierra. What is your on Facebook? What is it?
I'm Sierra Torres. If you look at Sierra Torres, retired Army, I'm the cute one, a Scorpio. And then also SierraTorres.com, SIERRATORRES.com. And
that's
so
why I'm not finding you.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of
Okay.
Sierra Torres. There's a lot of Puerto Ricans with that name. And so just put in Sierra Torres and U.S. Army retired, and you'll see my cute self right there.
Good
so,
thanks. Good thanks.
All right, sis, I have another caller. We like you and we love you. We'll see you next week.
Yes, beloved.
Okay, caller 973-816. Are you here? And caller 973-816, are you here? On Grown Folks Business, maybe they just want to listen in. I have some people that call in, they be like, don't call my number. I don't want to talk. So I can see you if you want to say something. We're here for you. And so, yes, I love the energy of my Scorpios. We are so, we're water. We just really. Oh, okay. Caller, is that you?
I'm here.
Okay. How are you tonight, caller?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing well. So I recognize this caller. Is this the lovely Lynn?
Yes, it is.
Okay, great. I'm
Oh,
glad
she
you
sounding
called
all
back.
seductive and
I
stuff.
know,
Yes,
right?
it
Yes, it
is. Criteria. All right.
Yes, could you please, because I really wanted her to call in tonight.
Okay.
She called in before on another show that I was on, and that really didn't give her clarity at all, Riziki. So I'm going to need you to do your thing for this caller. Could you please give her your birth date, please?
My birthday is January 9th, 1949.
Okay. Do you know the time you were born or no? And if not, it's okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
I do.
awesome. Okay.
12:43 p.m.
Okay,
Yes.
12:43 p.m. All right. And where were you born?
Patterson, New Jersey.
Okay, Patterson.
1T, Paterson.
Yep. All right. So Pattenberg, Hunterdon County.
Patterson, Paterson, 1T.
Oh, it's 1T.
Patterson.
Okay, I put
Patterson, New
two.
Jersey.
Okay, one sec. Okay, my bad. All right. So let's see. All right, go ahead. Whoa, with your comment. Okay.
No, I want you to stay right there with the whoa. Let it loose.
Okay. So whew, okay. I mean, there's so many places I could go. I mean, if there's is relationships, past life, your purpose here, like where do you want to start? Like I said, we'll be here all day.
Well, I mean, I guess you can start with my purpose.
Okay. Well, this is so crazy. This is the third caller in a row who has their Rahu in their first house. But you, ma'am, are an Aries rising. Aries rising is Aries is ruled by Mars, and your Mars is sitting in your 10th house Capricorn. Now, here's one thing I want to say with your Rahu Moon conjunction, because Rahu creates confusion. And whenever it's in your first house, a lot of people just go through life consistently, like always asking, why am I here? What is my purpose to, on this planet? And again, like the last caller, you also have, your Saturn retrograde in the 5th house. Oh, wow. And you know what? Past life was in a royal, that's a royal energy. There's some kind of, oh, wow. Okay. See, here I go. My mind is going. All right. Hold on one second. I want to go back to these confused emotions. This is one of your blockages because your Rahu and Moon is conjunct. Again, just a lot of unsurety about self and why you're here. And whenever your Rahu is in the first house, there's always a focus on self. There is Aries energy, so I kind of feel like you don't I don't know if you know how to be selfish in a healthy way. Like, if it's always, you giving to a point of detriment. Also too, another thing is your energy and your mind feeling restricted. Like there's like a mental restriction here. I will say that there's definitely a hard worker, energy to you. There's a lot of cardinal energy. I kind of feel like I don't want to say you've blocked yourself, but there's just been blockages. Like when a person comes on the phone, and I'm even feeling your energy through the phone, and you're an Aries rising, which is a cardinal energy, your ruling planet of your first house is in Capricorn, which is another cardinal energy, you're a starter. So it's like you are the one that can initiate and get things going. And also you have a stellium in Sagittarius. So there's a lot of wisdom here. There's a lot of expansion here. There's a lot of love here. But then I'm also feeling like there's this, I don't know, disconnect in partnership, or just, feeling as if, you're relatable. Like there's just emotional confusion. There's disconnect here. There's, again, past life karma that's definitely you have to learn from in this life. It's kind of like, I don't know what you're into spiritually, if you meditate, if it's hard for you to meditate, if it's hard for you to like keep your mind focused because it's all over the place. But I really feel like in this lifetime, there's almost a sense of healthy selfishness that you need to go through.
Did you hear that, caller? Healthy selfishness.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like, are you saying how do you be healthfully selfish?
Yes.
Okay, that just means knowing when to take time for self. I'll say this too.
Knowing when to bend over and instruct others to capitally kiss your crack.
Because I see the independence, I see the self-sufficient, I definitely see, the hard worker position. And again, it's like, and even what she said, knowing when to bend over backwards and knowing when to delegate, it's kind of like, too, I feel the restriction because do you see yourself as a power, like as a power and a leader? Because again, when you're dealing with two cardinal energies, that's very, very, very important. And a very powerful position. And then two, again, another thing that rules you is this house of wisdom, your ninth house. This is like foreign travel, teaching, counseling, knowing when to,
Caller, my producer's asking if you can turn your TV down, please.
Yeah.
It's coming over the airway.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
So what she's saying is that you need to, even though you're a self-starter, even though you're sufficient in all these areas, you have a tendency to give of yourself to other people instead of simply to yourself. Would you agree with that assessment?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what she's sensing from you is in this, what did you say, Riziki? She was Aries rising?
Yeah, Aries rising.
And so she's sounding a little bit burnt out, right?
I mean, and that can happen too. Like you're feeling your energy restriction or, you're burning out. And again, because your Rahu is here, your Dharma planet and your moon. So this is also like your emotion, like, so moon in Aries is good because I do understand the passion and like your fiery kind of love. Like, when you love hard. But again, because there's such a cardinal energy that you have, but yet I also see where your energy's all over the place. And sometimes there's certain, loss due to how much you're extending yourself for other people, and again, especially wherever Rahu is, I always pay attention to that. And whenever it's in the first house, there's some things in past life you did not finish developing. And so it's kind of like even you giving too much of yourself in last life to where you kind of lost things, and you got to understand in this life, it's got to be a different, course. And can you honestly say, you are confident saying, hey, listen, I've lived my life in a sense where, I've experienced things that I want to experience, how I want to experience. How much did I feel like I had to sacrifice of myself to please other people? And again, like there's just so much wisdom that you have, like with the stellium and ninth house. And then, so I don't know if like in your career, whenever let me see something. See, I'm going all over the place because I'm just trying to understand, your more about your purpose. And I don't want people to feel like when I say being selfish, it's all about me. I don't care about you. But I just feel like there's some things in this 12th house energy you haven't expressed. Your deepest desires, your true hidden skills and talents. And one of the
I got
biggest things is
people
freeing yourself.
texting me about you, Riziki. They scared to call in. They done got some chart readings from you, and they nervous.
I'm just saying, like,
make sure you get clarification. The terminology and the astrology that she does not mean what it means in human form. So Riziki is very spiritually gifted in this area, and sometimes she may talk a little bit over your head. Just ask her to bring it down a little bit, and then she'll drop it in the hood for you and just keep it real. But
oh, and then honey, you in your Saturn Mahadasha too? Oh man. So this is a very karmic time. Wait a minute, let me make sure before oh yes. Yeah, you started this in 2014. So a lot of, so your fifth house is highlighted in this life. Sorry to cut you off, sis, but I just feel like I really got to tell her this. Okay. So your fifth house deals with children, creativity, speculative business, past life karma, meditation, things that can spiritually, heal you. But again, your Saturn was you were born with Saturn retrograde, and your fifth house is highlighted. So this is very karmic. Also, again, 10th house, like, even though that deals with career, it also deals with, feeling righteous in your purpose. And then your 11th house is the people you're around. Are you gaining from the people you're around? Because 11th house also deals with losses as well, but more so monetarily. Okay, so again, just making sure that you're healthfully selfish, you're surrounding yourself with people that uplift you, you're getting more into your spiritual stuff. As far as your children, I don't want to go deep into that, but making sure that spiritually, any deep-rooted issues in that area, you know what I mean, that is, healed and brought to light. But Saturn is one of the most challenging Mahadashas to go through, but it is a karmic lesson. But understand that what you're born with, you have the power to change because you're a co-creator. You're also a goddess. So the stuff I'm saying is like, oh, I'm doomed. No, that's not what I'm saying. You have the chance to change it. So understand that moving forward from this day forward, get more into yourself, your spiritual, your emotional clarity, your meditation, the things that you read to uplift you. So that's what I'm
gonna have to cut you off, Dr. Philomena, because she will go to church on you.
I'm just saying,
especially you heard what she said, Carla. She said you are a goddess. You have royal energy and past life karma tied to that. So I want to see you get more into yourself, be a little more selfish. Like she said, selfish is not a bad word. Unfortunately, we've been taught that as children that it's bad to be selfish. It's a good thing. It'll extend your life at least 10 to 15 years if you learn the most anointed word, that is no. I've learned that no is an anointed word, and I need to use it more often. And so make sure you don't become a yes girl in this life. You've been on this earth some years, and she says you're walking with a lot of wisdom. So utilize that wisdom for yourself. Caller, we like you and we love you. That's a new thing I learned this weekend, and I'm loving saying it. I like you and I love you because it's really important that you like also the person that you're loving. And so I want to thank Miss Ruth for that saying. I'm going to use that now on my radio show. We thank you so much for calling in to Grown Folks Business tonight. I hope that helped you, caller. And we're getting ready.
And thank you so much.
You're welcome. I
want to see you. I want to see you in your purpose. And so with that, I'm so excited. Even though my producer just be hanging up on folks. He be like, girl, get off the airways. I got a 1 hour show that really probably needs to be 2 hours because I never get everything in. But we're here at Grown Folks Business for the service of elevating our people. That's the purpose of my program, is to elevate my people. You know what I'm saying? My people, the ones that look like me, the ones that struggle like me, the ones that suffer like me, the ones that hurt like me. And I ain't talking about color. I'm talking about spiritually, people. I'm talking about, I got some sisters of the different persuasion that have gone through the same treacherous things that I've gone through. It's all in the charting. Isn't that right, Riziki?
Yes,
it's all in the charting, but the difference is my platform is for people of color. And so with that being said, the people who look like me on the melanin scale is who are on my program. And so, but my love is for everybody. And I'm thankful to have this platform. And so you can reach me on SierraTorres.com or on Facebook at Sierra Torres. You can catch me every Tuesday live on InnerLightRadio.com. Me and the lovely Earlene, who is running around in Florida showing her behind without me because I had to be on my program tonight. So Earlene, I hope you're having a good time, girl. And I'll see you back here next week where you're behind better be well rested and gorgeous while she was going to Universal Studios. And Riziki, tell them one more time how they can reach you.
Absolutely. www.rizikizafira.com. That's RIZIKIZAFIRA. Or hit me up on Facebook at Riziki Zafira. Peace and love.
Peace and love.
And thank you again for having me on the show.
Absolutely. I can't have you enough. I'll have to call you again because I got folks texting me. They were scared to call you and everything. Listen,
Don't be scared.
She ain't Madam Cleo. She ain't looking at no crystal ball. She looking in the stars at you. She looking at what the divine wrote for you. And so I think it's amazing to have someone with this type of gift that actually can, I'm a channeler and I divinate by listening to what the heavenlies say about you, but she's even looking at what the heavenlies have written about you. And so, the difference between her and I is that, when the heavenlies are telling me your business, they only telling me necessarily what happened before, what's currently happening. Only very few select people do I get what's going to happen. And most of the time it's when they're getting ready to die. And I hate that part. And I try to always interfere in it. But Riziki, the amazing thing about her is that she can look and tell you that you get ready to have a situation come up, or echoes as we call them, and she can tell you how to handle that and how to prepare for it, because it's always about the emotional realm. If you can figure out your emotions, you can learn how to respond instead of react. And the problem with Black folks is they always reacting instead of responding. And that's where, when someone gives you an action and you give them a reaction, it normally causes confusion. But when someone gives you an action and you simply respond, you stay emotionally balanced. And that's one of the things that I've learned through my charting. And she sends it to you and you ain't going to understand a lick of it. You know what I'm saying? It's going to come with all of these symbols and all this other stuff. So
but I offer classes too.
She offers classes and you ain't going to understand none of that either. But I suggest that you take them. All I can say is when she says something, I'll be like, Mama say, Mama saw, Mama saw. But I think she's saying Mahadasha, something like that. So with that being said, I stay in my lane, but I like to know I like to drive over into her lane sometimes and cut her off and see what she's doing. But then I get right back into my own lane because I realize that I'm not qualified in her lane. And so I just like to go over there sometimes and see what's going on. And that's the thing with us people. Stay in your own lane so you can get healthy. And with that, this is Goddess Sierra, and my lovely co-host this week was Riziki Zafira with her beautiful self. And this is Grown Folk Business, and we'll see you again live next week at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on InnerLightRadio.com.
Nothing less than my loyalty. You hold me down in return, you get more of me. That's how it feel when you're someone's priority, babe. Now what you gonna do with that? I know you ain't used to that. I'll show you better, babe.
I know you're used to letdowns and heartbreaks, lost in silhouettes of your heartache.